Hi, everyone, and welcome to Global English Talks. My name is Suzanne, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Mark. Thank you for joining us. This is a place where you can relax, listen, and improve your English in a natural way.
Yes, here on Global English Talks, we talk about daily life in simple English. We don't give difficult grammar lessons, we just have real conversations, like two friends talking.
Our goal is to help you understand English when people speak normally. We use clear words, slow rhythm, and real situations from everyday life.
Today's episode is about something we all do. We are talking about being at a restaurant, ordering food, speaking with the waiter, choosing what to eat.
By the end of this episode, you will feel more comfortable when you go to a restaurant and need to speak English.
So take a deep breath, maybe grab a cup of coffee or tea, and just listen.
You are not studying, you are simply joining a friendly conversation.
Let's begin. So, Mark, let me ask you something. When was the last time you went to a restaurant?
Oh, that's easy. Last Friday night, I went to a small Italian restaurant near my apartment. It was raining outside and the windows were all foggy. It felt cozy.
That sounds nice. Did you plan to go there, or was it a spontaneous decision?
It was spontaneous. I was at home wearing old sweatpants and I suddenly thought, I don't want to cook tonight. So I changed clothes and went out. I felt a little lazy, but also excited.
I love that feeling. Sometimes cooking feels like climbing a small mountain, not a big mountain, just enough to make you tired before you even start.
Exactly. And when I arrived, the place was half full. People were talking softly. I could hear forks and plates. It felt calm.
Did you feel comfortable speaking English with the staff?
Yes, but I remember when I was younger, I felt nervous in restaurants. My mind would go blank when the waiter asked, "Are you ready to order?"
Oh, yes, that question can feel like a surprise test.
Right. Even if you know the words, your heart beats faster. You look at the menu again, even though you already decided.
I think many listeners know that feeling. You understand English, but in real life, with a real person waiting, it feels different.
So today we're going to talk about that moment, the simple but sometimes stressful experience of being at a restaurant.
And we'll make it feel easier, step by step. So, today we are talking about a very common situation, being at a restaurant and speaking English.
Yes, this is real-life English, not classroom English, not textbook sentences, just normal things people say when they sit down, look at a menu, and talk to a waiter.
Going to a restaurant can be fun, but for English learners, it can also feel a little stressful. You may worry about pronunciation, you may worry about understanding the waiter.
And sometimes the waiter speaks fast, or the restaurant is noisy. Plates are clinking, people are laughing. It's not a quiet place like your room when you study.
Exactly. So this episode will help you feel more relaxed in that environment. We'll talk about what people usually say, how conversations flow, and how you can respond naturally.
And remember, you don't need perfect English to order food. You just need clear, simple sentences and a calm attitude.
If you enjoy learning English through real conversations like this, make sure you follow Global English Talks. That way, you don't miss our next episode.
We talk about daily life, personal growth, and situations you actually experience, because English is not just a language, it's a tool for living.
So let's go deeper into today's topic and make restaurant English feel easy and friendly. So, Mark, let's start very simple. What does being at a restaurant really mean in English conversation?
Good question. Being at a restaurant means more than just eating food. It means interacting with people. You arrive, someone greets you, you sit down, you read a menu, you order, you ask questions, and later you pay.
Yes, it's a small social experience. You are not alone. Even if you go by yourself, you still speak with the host or the waiter.
And the language is usually polite and short. People don't use long sentences. They say things like, "Can I get a table for two?" or "I'd like the chicken, please."
I like that you said polite. Restaurant English is often softer. People use please, thank you, and could I.
Exactly. It's not complicated English, it's simple, respectful English. For example, instead of saying, "Bring me water," you say, "Could I have some water, please?"
So being at a restaurant means using everyday words in a polite way. It also means listening carefully. The waiter might ask, "Still or sparkling?" Or "How would you like that cooked?"
And sometimes they ask small questions like, "Is everything okay?" That doesn't mean something is wrong, it's just a normal check.
So, in simple terms, restaurant English is about short, clear sentences, polite expressions, and understanding common questions.
Yes, it's a practical conversation. It's not deep philosophy. It's about food, preferences, and comfort.
And once you understand the flow, it becomes much easier. It feels natural, not scary. So, Mark, I was thinking about something. Being at a restaurant in another language feels a bit like holding a tray full of drinks for the first time.
Oh, I like that image. Tell me more.
Imagine you are in a small cafe. The waiter gives you a round tray with 4 glasses of juice. Your hands feel a little shaky. You walk slowly because you don't want anything to fall.
Yes, your eyes are focused. You don't look left or right. You just think, "Don't spill it."
Exactly. And when you speak English at a restaurant, it can feel the same. You are holding your words carefully. You're afraid of making a mistake. You walk slowly through each sentence.
That's true. And the funny thing is, most of the time, nothing spills. You say your sentence, the waiter understands, life continues.
But in your mind, it feels dramatic, like one wrong word will break everything.
I remember once in London, I wanted to order mashed potatoes, but I forgot the word mashed. I just said the soft potatoes. I felt embarrassed for 1 second.
And what happened?
The waiter smiled and said, "Mashed potatoes." I said yes. That was it. Nothing fell, no disaster.
That's the tray. You think the glasses will crash to the floor, but usually people help you balance them.
And the more you carry that tray, the steadier your hands become. After a few times, you walk faster. You even look around and enjoy the room.
So restaurant English is not about being perfect. It's about practicing balance, one sentence at a time.
And trusting that small mistakes are just tiny drops, not broken glass.
Let's talk about something very practical. If someone feels nervous at a restaurant, what is the first thing they can do to feel more confident?
I think the first tip is simple. Decide what you want before the waiter comes. That sounds basic, but it changes everything.
Yes, when the waiter says, "Are you ready to order?" and you still don't know, your brain becomes busy. You are thinking about food and English at the same time.
Exactly. Your mind is like a small kitchen with too many pans on the stove. Everything is hot, everything needs attention.
I remember one evening in Madrid. I was at a small seafood restaurant near the beach. The menu was long. I kept changing my mind. When the waiter came, I felt pressure. My heart started beating faster.
And what happened?
I asked for more time, but I could feel my voice shaking a little. It wasn't about English, it was about not being ready.
That's a great point. Sometimes the stress is not about vocabulary, it's about decision. So a good habit is to read the menu slowly, choose your food, maybe even practice the sentence in your head.
Like, "I'd like the grilled chicken with rice, please." Just one clear sentence.
Yes, and you can also prepare a simple question. For example, does this come with salad? That way, when the waiter arrives, you are calm.
Being ready is like tying your shoes before you start walking. You don't want to run with loose laces.
So tip number 1 is this. Take your time with the menu. Decide. Prepare one clear sentence. Confidence often starts before you speak.
Okay, Mark, what would be the second tip?
The second tip is this. Use simple sentences. Don't try to sound impressive. Clear is better than complicated.
I love that. Sometimes learners think they need long sentences to sound fluent.
Yes, but in a restaurant, people speak very simply. For example, you don't need to say, "I would be extremely grateful if you could possibly bring me a glass of water." You can just say, "Could I have some water, please?"
That's much easier, and it sounds natural.
Exactly. I remember once I was in a busy restaurant in New York. It was loud, music was playing, the waiter was moving fast, If I had used a long sentence, he probably wouldn't hear half of it.
So short sentences are not only easier for you, they're also easier for the other person.
Yes, think of it like sending a text message. If the message is too long, it's harder to understand. But if it's clear and direct, communication is smooth.
I also think simple sentences give you more control. You don't get lost in your own words.
That's true. When you try to build a very long sentence, you may forget a word in the middle. Then you feel stuck.
But if you say, "I'll have the pasta," that's complete. That's enough.
And remember, restaurants are not language exams. They're places for eating and enjoying time. No one expects perfect grammar.
So tip number 2, keep it simple. Short, polite, clear sentences are powerful. Let's move to the third tip. What else can help someone feel more relaxed at a restaurant?
I would say listen for patterns. Restaurant conversations follow a very predictable order.
That's interesting. What do you mean by predictable?
I mean, the conversation usually happens in steps. First, someone says, "How many people?" Then, "Here is your menu." Later, "Are you ready to order?" After that, "How is everything?" And finally, "Would you like the bill?"
So it's almost like a small script.
Yes, like a short play that repeats every day in thousands of restaurants around the world.
I remember being in a cafe in Toronto on a cold morning. I ordered breakfast. The waiter asked, "Coffee or tea?" I didn't understand at first because he spoke quickly, but then I realized that question always comes after breakfast.
Exactly. When you know the pattern, you don't feel surprised. Your brain relaxes because it expects certain questions.
So instead of thinking, "What will they ask me?" you can think, "Oh yes, this is the part where they ask about drinks."
And even if you don't understand every word, you can understand the situation. Context helps a lot.
That's true. The menu is in your hand, you're at a table, the waiter is smiling, the possible topics are limited.
So tip number 3 is this: learn the common flow of restaurant conversations. When you recognize the pattern, you feel more in control.
And control brings calm. All right, Mark, let's share one more tip. What is something small but powerful that listeners can do?
I would say don't be afraid to ask for repetition. If you don't understand, it's completely okay to say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
That's such an important one. Many learners feel embarrassed when they don't understand.
Yes, but even native speakers ask people to repeat things. Restaurants can be noisy. There's music, other conversations, and the sound of plates.
I remember one Saturday afternoon in a crowded burger place. The waiter asked me something about my order. I only heard the last word. I smiled, but I had no idea what he said.
What did you do?
For 2 seconds, I thought about pretending I understood, but then I just said, "Sorry, could you say that again?" He repeated it more slowly. It was no problem at all.
That's a great example. When you ask for repetition, you're not showing weakness. You're showing that you care about understanding.
And it also gives you more time to think.
Exactly. You can also say, "Could you speak a little more slowly, please?" Most waiters are happy to help.
Communication is a two-way street. It's not only your responsibility. The other person also wants the conversation to work.
So tip number 4 is, if you don't understand, ask again. A simple sentence can save you from confusion.
And it makes the experience much more relaxed. You know, Mark, I want to talk about something many learners don't think about. After speaking English in public, especially in a place like a restaurant, you can feel very tired.
Oh yes, mental tiredness. It's real.
It's like when you carry grocery bags home. They don't look heavy at first, but after 10 minutes, your hands start to hurt.
That's a perfect image. Speaking in another language is like carrying invisible grocery bags. No one sees the weight, but you feel it.
I remember once in Dublin, I met friends at a small restaurant near the river. I spoke English the whole evening. I laughed, I ordered food, I told stories. It was fun, but when I got home, I just sat on my bed and stared at the wall.
Because your brain needed rest.
Exactly. I wasn't sad, I wasn't sick, I was just mentally full.
And that is normal. When you focus on listening and speaking carefully, your brain works harder than usual.
So if you go to a restaurant in English and later feel tired, don't think, I'm bad at English. Think, I did something brave today.
Yes, rest is not failure, it's recovery.
Sometimes after a long day, it's okay to sit quietly, drink water, and not speak at all.
That quiet moment is like putting the grocery bags down on the kitchen table. You finally relax your hands.
And the next time you pick them up, they feel lighter.
So remember, using English in real life is energy, and resting after is part of learning.
All right, Mark, let's explore some useful restaurant words. The first word is reservation.
A reservation means you call or go online before you arrive and ask the restaurant to save a table for you. For example, you can say, I have a reservation for 2 under the name Mark. This word matters because in busy restaurants, you may not get a table without one. Knowing this word helps you feel prepared and confident when you arrive.
Great. The next word is menu.
A menu is the list of food and drinks the restaurant offers. It usually includes prices and descriptions. For example, I'm still looking at the menu. Everything looks delicious. This word is basic but very important. When you understand the menu, you can make better choices and ask clear questions.
Nice. The third word is order.
To order means to tell the waiter what you want to eat or drink. For example, I'd like to order the grilled fish, please. This word matters because it is the main action in a restaurant. You are not just eating, you are ordering first.
Good one. The next word is bill.
The bill is the paper that shows how much you need to pay. In some places, people also say check. For example, could we have the bill, please? This word is useful because the conversation doesn't end with food, it ends with payment.
That's true. Our fifth word is tip.
A tip is extra money you give to the waiter to say thank you for good service. For example, let's leave a small tip because the service was great. This word matters because in some countries, tipping is common and in others it is not. Knowing the word helps you understand cultural differences.
And the last word today is recommend.
To recommend means to suggest something. A waiter might say, I recommend the pasta. It's very popular. This word is helpful because you can also ask, what do you recommend? That simple question can make ordering much easier.
These small words make a big difference in real conversations.
Yes, when you understand these words, the restaurant experience feels much smoother.
All right, Mark, let's give our listeners a small challenge.
Yes, something simple but useful.
Imagine this situation. It's Friday evening. You walk into a small restaurant. It smells like fresh bread. Soft music is playing. A waiter smiles at you and says, Good evening. How many people?
Pause for a moment and answer in your head. What would you say?
Maybe you say, Table for 1, please, or We're 2.
Now imagine you sit down. You look at the menu. The waiter comes back and asks, Are you ready to order?
Again, pause. Build one simple sentence. Not a long speech, just one clear sentence.
For example, yes, I'll have the chicken sandwich and a glass of water.
Notice how it feels in your mind. Does your heart feel calm or a little fast?
There is no right or wrong feeling. This exercise is just to help you practice inside your head.
You don't need a real restaurant to practice. Your imagination is enough.
And when you practice small moments like this, real life feels more familiar.
So your challenge today is simple. Create one small restaurant conversation in your mind. Just 3 or 4 sentences.
And say them out loud if you can, even quietly. Your voice needs practice too.
Let's make this even more practical. What can our listeners do this week to feel more confident at a restaurant?
Okay, I have 4 simple actions. First, read a restaurant menu online. Many restaurants post their menus on their websites. Just look at one menu for 5 minutes. Notice the names of dishes and drinks.
That's easy and realistic. You can do it at home with your phone.
Second, practice 3 key sentences. For example, could I have, I'd like, and could we have the bill, please? Repeat them slowly. Repeat them again later in the day.
Repetition builds comfort. The more your mouth says the sentence, the less scary it feels.
Third, watch a short restaurant scene in a movie or series in English. Pay attention to how people speak. Notice the tone. It's usually calm and polite.
And you don't need to understand every word. Focus on the flow.
Fourth, if possible, try a small real-life moment. Maybe order coffee in English, even if it's just one sentence.
Start small. You don't need a fancy dinner. A simple cafe is enough.
These small steps are like small weights at the gym. You don't start with the heaviest one.
Yes, you build strength slowly.
And after a few weeks, you will notice that ordering food in English feels normal, not stressful.
Consistency is more important than perfection. So today, we talked about something very real and very common, being at a restaurant and speaking English.
Yes, we said that restaurant English is not complicated. It is simple, polite, and practical. Short sentences are enough.
We shared the image of carrying a tray with drinks. At first, your hands feel shaky, but with practice, you become steady.
We also talked about preparing before you speak. Decide what you want. Keep your sentences simple. Learn the common pattern of restaurant conversations.
And don't be afraid to ask someone to repeat a question. That is normal communication, not a mistake.
We explored useful words like reservation, menu, order, bill, tip, and recommend.
And we reminded you that feeling tired after speaking English is normal. Your brain is working hard, and rest is part of growth.
Small practice moments can change how you feel in real life.
Restaurant English is not about being perfect. It is about being clear, calm, and willing to try.
And every small success builds your confidence.
Mark, I really like this topic. It's simple, but it connects to real life in such a strong way.
I agree. Eating at a restaurant is something many people do when they travel, study abroad, or even just practice English in their own city.
And the beautiful thing is this. Every time you order food in English, you are not just buying a meal, you are building confidence.
Yes, you are showing yourself that you can communicate, even with small sentences, even with a small accent.
So next time you sit at a table and hold that menu, remember the tray with the drinks. Move slowly, stay calm, trust your balance.
And if something spills, it's okay. You can always smile and try again.
Thank you so much for listening to Global English Talks.
If this episode helped you, follow the podcast and share it with a friend who is learning English too.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and most of all, keep believing that you are improving every single day.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
Take care.